Welcome back to the Step It Up Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tomas Keenan, coming at you guys today with another amazing episode of one of my favorite things to do, which is the podcast. And, this month here that you're going to listen to this, or actually goes live, this podcast, this is, I believe, either the 243rd, 44th, 42nd, somewhere around there, 200 and something episode of this podcast. In August, this month right now, marks 5 years that we've been at this and plugging away, showing up here each and every week. And today you're probably like, man, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're seeing some clips, it's like, what the hell's going on with this video? Because Tomas clearly has a background behind him. That is not him. Yep, you are correct, folks. One of the things that has to happen when it comes to podcasting is you have to be consistent. And what I like to do is actually bank material, bank content. So I have a whole podcast application, a system to get guests booked on. But every so often, I wind up running out of guests and I don't have enough episodes in the bank to basically cover if I have to go away, if I've got to go on the road, if I've got to go service a client, if I want to go on vacation. So here we are. You've got me in a room, actually in a hotel room right now in Austin, Texas. I'm down here working on site with an amazing client. I'll get into that in a minute. But this is one of the things that's required for me to show up and produce this show and create the content for this show each and every week. And sometimes I've got enough content in the bank, which is what I try to do. I try to plan everything out so I don't have to do this. But hey, every so often life comes at us. We're business owners, we're entrepreneurs, we're parents, we're fathers, we're mothers and brothers and sisters. This craziness of life calls us to do certain things at certain times, and things just don't always go the way that we want them to. So that's why you've got me here running my mouth in a hotel room in Austin, Texas on this awesome August night. Now, with that being said, thank you for coming in. If you've been a longtime listener, I really, truly appreciate you. I got a lot of people who message me weekly, say, hey, this is some really great information. We're hearing from you on the show. Keep up the good work. If that is you, if you are finding value from this, shoot me a DM, connect with me, send me an email, thomas@stepitupacademy.com. I am easy to find, and I'd be more than willing to have a conversation with anyone. And I mean, let's just be real here for a second. I don't know a person on the planet who doesn't like a little bit of positive feedback, a little bit of, hey, what you did helped me. And honestly, I wouldn't mind it. So if you're getting value from this show, or if you've been a longtime listener, do me a favor, connect with me. If not, head over to the website, stepitupacademy.com. It's a new site, by the way. We just relaunched it, and it's got some really cool stuff there. It's changed up, whole new theme, whole new everything. But yeah, connect with us. If you would like to be a guest on this show, we are always taking applicants and would love to have somebody on who can provide some value to the audience and listeners. If you think you've got what it takes, once again, message me. Find me on social media. Send me an email. Be more than happy to have a conversation with you and send you the application to get you possibly on this podcast as a guest. I just love having really great, open, authentic, and direct conversations with other leaders, business owners, and people who've done some cool things in life. You don't necessarily have to be a business owner to come in and get a guest seat on this podcast. Now, with that being said, all right, Tom, what are you doing in Austin, Texas? Like, we know you're in Dallas. What are you doing in Austin? Well, there's this thing called business, folks, and every so often we've got to travel for business, and that's been my story for a long time now. I've been almost want to call it a road warrior for a while. Like, since my GPS tracking days, I've really traveled a lot, seen a lot of the country, seen some really cool things and places, and beginning of this year, I very much so intentionally backed off of my travel, if that makes sense. Knowing that my situation at home was drastically changing, for those of you who've been following along, or maybe those of you who are new here, recently went through a divorce, and I've got 3 amazing kids who are my own. And I needed to ensure that I was going to be there and show up for them no matter what, right? So regardless of what was going on, I need to show up and be present for my kids. And that was basically the word that I gave, not just to me, but also to them. What that meant business-wise was I couldn't get on the road and travel every other week or multiple times a week like I had been doing for years prior. And there's good and bad to everything. It forced me to level up and be more present at home. But it also pulled me away from doing some of the things that I love to do and showing up and serving clients in the manner which I thoroughly enjoy. And that's what I'm doing here in Austin, Texas right now. I've got an amazing client who was referred to me by another amazing client who I've done some stuff with in the past. It's funny. The referral game is the referral game, folks. Don't sleep on that in your business, right? Reach out to people you've done business with in the past and re-energize and reinvigorate those conversations, because you never know when the next referral is coming, right? This referral was worth 5 figures, multiple 5 figures for me. So it was very well worth my while reaching out, having conversations, checking in on people. And listen, I'm not saying to go out there and check in on people and be inauthentic about it or expect something in return, but you never know what's going to happen when you do reach out and check on someone as a good, honest human being. Simple as that. So down here in Austin, Texas, got a referral, hooked up with this dude down here. It's got a blue collar industry or service-based business, and fabricates and installs structural steel for residential, commercial houses and whatnot. Does some really cool stuff, right? Basically, dude's a welder, metalworking kind of guy. We're down here working on his business today and tomorrow. And he hired me for our Step It Up Academy on-site assessment package. And I developed this about 4 years ago, actually about 3 years ago. And it was out of necessity. I had a client who was like, hey, I want you to come in, look at my business and tell me what's wrong so we can fix it. I was all right. Well, usually I do that over coaching calls, and it takes, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months for us to really start to make things happen. And this guy's like, yeah, I need something sooner than that. And I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to pay for it. What can you do? And lo and behold, when there's demand in the marketplace, solutions are created and were built. And that's exactly what happened. I got this guy who needed help in a service-based business, and he was really close to me in North Texas, and he was actually in Frisco, Texas. Went on site, worked with him for a few days, and we had really good results. And I said, wow, okay, going into the facility, seeing firsthand what they've got going on, getting a tour of the facility, meeting the other people on the team, getting a really good feel for the culture, peeling back the layers of the onions and seeing exactly what they've got going on from a systems and processes perspective gives me really good insight into the behind the scenes of the company, and allows my integrator brain to basically connect the dots and say, oh, okay, listen, that's working great. That over there is shit, and everything in between can need some tweaking and upgrading and help. It allows my integrator brain to also take it a step further and help them design the systems and processes they need, because I'm seeing it in real time, face to face, and they can't bullshit me either and say, yeah, we're doing great over there. And I'm seeing it firsthand, like, no, you're not. This is something I've been doing now for a handful of years. I thoroughly enjoy doing it. And it's something it's a service that not everyone does, okay? From a coaching consulting perspective. It's also a service that not all clients choose to move forward with, because it is expensive to get me at your facility for 2 days, full transparency. But expensive is relevant to what you've got going on in your business at that point in time, right? So you come and you possibly invest some money with me. I come on site. I help you dial things into your business. We uncover some cool things, opportunities. We uncover some weaknesses. We work on some strengths. We design processes to make things better. If you don't have a hiring process, we work on it. We implement it. Right? All these different things, because this is not us just talking. We're also implementing while we're on site and making some things happen before I even leave, right? Which is where the real power lies. It's like, okay, you ready? You're telling me you're ready to take action. Your pocketbook, your credit card is telling me you're ready to take action. And when I get there, yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to dive in. We're going to uncover things. We're going to get to know each other as two humans, or myself, and knowing your team, your group, your leadership. But we're also going to dive in and make things happen. I want to make the most out of your investment into me with the time allotted and that we have on time. The time that we have on site with you and your team, so we can really go in and build these things and launch you into basically the stratosphere in a very, very short period of time. And this is something that I've been able to do over my career multiple times. And at first, I didn't realize I was doing this. I had other people who were hiring me. I had clients who were hiring me, from a one-on-one coaching perspective. And I got a lot of really good success out of it, because I was able to apply what was working in prior businesses and situations for me. I was able to take the good from those situations and apply them into someone else's business, and basically help them brainstorm and unlock possibilities and opportunities. And then let's go to work and make something happen before I leave. And typically what winds up happening is someone hires us, we go on site, they got to pay us. We spend the 2 days there. We meet the team. We do the assessment. We document the shit out of everything while we're here. We're taking notes on everything: team size, org chart, full-blown SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. From there, we're creating the action items that you and your team need to take over the next 90 days to hit the targets and goals that we've set during our initial hour or so of the meeting. What myself and my team deliver from there is what we call the roadmap, right? Great, we've got all this information, we've captured all this data from you, but now I've got to take it and I've got to turn it into something that is easily read and executable by you. All right, so cool. Now we understand what Tom documented here. We've got this plan. He's telling us specifically what needs to happen in order for us to hit these targets and or goals within the next 90 days. And that's the beauty and that's the ultimate power of these on-site assessments, right? So you take your typical coaching or consulting agreement where someone comes in, they want to work with me at Step It Up Academy. It's a 6-month stint minimum. And now we're literally pouring rocket fuel onto this, pun intended. We're pouring rocket fuel onto what this person's doing inside their company, and we're making shit happen rapidly, right? And this stuff, if you haven't picked up on it yet, it lights me up. I get excited because we get to do some really cool shit and truly, truly, truly help people. And ultimately, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm in business for, and that's what I enjoy doing, right? It fulfills me as a human being. So, with that being said, this is going to be a short episode because I'm over here rambling, running my mouth, talking about this on-site assessment and these cool things we're doing for this awesome business that's serving other awesome businesses down here in Austin, Texas. If you or somebody that you know would like to have a discussion with me or someone else on the Step It Up Academy team about what an on-site assessment looks like, how we can show up in a coaching or consulting role for you and help your organization grow, basically get the owner out of the way, remove some of the roadblocks, get back some of your time so you can spend it where it really matters. Hey, by the way, that's your family. That's working on you. That's you being a little bit selfish for yourself. Yes, you as a business owner, you deserve it if you've done the work. So I would love to have that conversation with you. The same way I told you guys to reach out to me earlier in this podcast, you can do the same thing now. Hit me up at thomas@stepitupacademy.com. Shit, I'll even go a step further. You guys want to reach out to me directly, take my cell phone number and text me, 516-790-6931. That's the best way. That's the fastest way to get me too. Hit me on that number. That's no BS. That's my personal cell phone. Hit me up. I would love to have an interaction or conversation with you and talk about how Step It Up Academy can help you grow your business and make things even better than what they currently are. With that being said, thank you so much for showing up to this podcast. I truly appreciate you, longtime listeners. And if you want to do me a favor, head over to iTunes, Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, head over to Spotify, leave a 5-star review. We've been ranking in a lot of other countries recently, which is pretty cool. We just ranked in France. We hit Portugal. We hit, what else did we hit recently? We've hit the Philippines a whole bunch. Canada's a big one for us, the United States. This podcast is now ranked top 1.5% podcast in the entire world, which blows my mind. Because I'm like, hey, I've got some things going on. I like helping people, but never in a million years would I think that I have a top 1.5% ranked podcast globally. And if you want to check that out and verify it for yourself, head over to listennotes.com and type in this podcast name, Step It Up Entrepreneur, and it'll pop up pretty quickly. Top 1.5% podcast in the globe. It's definitely one of those things I'm a bit proud of. And I appreciate you for coming in here and listening to me run my mouth. And I look forward to you listening to this again next week. Have a great one.
Thank you for tuning in to the Step It Up Entrepreneur podcast. Make sure you head over to stepitupentrepreneur.com and make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Step It Up Entrepreneur podcast.